All right, we're going to go ahead and get started. Again, good morning to everyone. Welcome to today's Fire Up training. Before we get started, just a few important notes. If you haven't already, make sure to check out our website. This is where you can find recordings of past Fire Up trainings, product information, and other helpful resources anytime, day or night. Since today's session is being recorded, please go ahead and turn off your cameras and keep your mics muted during the presentation. We'll have a Q&A at the end, so feel free to drop your questions in the chat as we go or hang on to them until that time. Don't forget to put your Fire Up trainings on your calendar for Wednesday morning through March. We're almost there. And attend as much as possible for a chance to win a Pit Boss pellet grill. Now, we're going to go ahead and get started with the real reason you're here this morning. We're excited to have our business development manager from NewFields Ag, Pat Larson, presenting today with his guest speaker, Matt Jones, NFA customer.
Good morning, everyone. Like Jamie said, I'm Pat Larson, BDM for the Eastern region of the United States, and I'm here with one of our customers, Matt Johnson of Johnson Farms in Red Key, Indiana. Matt's been a pretty good customer with us for the last several years, and I asked him to come on to tell us his experiences and what he's looking for and what he likes and things going forward. So Matt, kind of give us an explanation of your farming operation, what you've done in the past, and what you would like to see in the future.
We farm here in Jay County, Jay, Randolph, and Delaware counties in East Central Indiana. It's just a father and son operation. We farm about little over 2,200 acres. Most of that is owned, and we do about an additional 1,000 in custom work. What I guess sets us apart from most is for 37 years, all we grew, besides beans and wheat, was popcorn. So there's been a lot of experience through that popcorn, a lot of growth, a lot of understanding of things, because that popcorn plant is not that robust plant that you see as a corn plant. And so we've learned to make adjustments and do things. And then after the 23 crop, we were popcorn sold out, and they cut their acres from 37,000 to 8,000 acres, and we switched to corn. And I just transferred everything that we were doing from popcorn to field corn. Didn't know what to expect, what to understand. I listened to a lot of people in the neighborhood, and you never know whether you're getting the real truth or not, but we felt 180 was a good yield. Our 2-year now average on corn is 224. And I contributed a lot of that to just the management aspects and the things that we had to do on the popcorn end to try to get a crop to this. And I think they're all building blocks. And I think it starts with the soil and you work your way up. It's like building a house. You got to have a good foundation. So you want that soil and that soil biology rocking and rolling. We use a lot of manures of all sorts. We soil test everything every year. We only apply what needs to be applied, where it needs to be applied, and when it needs to be applied. I think once you get that foundation set and you start building your blocks up, building your house to build that plant, that's when you can start adding things. And that's where, one, we just went with dust, because I was sick and tired of being filthy dirty after a day planting with talc and graphite. You know, you're just coated in that stuff. And I don't raise graphite and I don't raise talc. I do raise soybeans, and thus that's where the idea on the dust came. The dust is a great product. I'd recommend anybody using it, period. Not only will you be cleaner at the end of the day, but you're promoting your own product, and it's a biological in itself. But then, like in the popcorn, you don't have these traits that are put in it. So you have to watch out for all the diseases, all the insects, everything. So we were applying Ethos XB in furrow, which was basically capture and then their form of biologicals. I switched to the Bio Stealth product. I saw no difference. It did just as well as the Ethos, and it's actually more convenient, less of a mess, and actually my cost per acre is cheaper. So I always look at everything. Did it add yield? But did it add return on investment at the bottom line? Some things we can get to return yield, but not enough return on investment to justify. So it's just like we experiment a lot in a sweet corn patch that we have, and we try a lot of different things. And I think everybody just needs to be trying. Um, and when you find a company that has a product that works for you, look at the rest of their portfolio. And not everything's going to work for everybody because we all farm in a different place. We all farm a little different. You could be a no-tiller, but maybe you do it different than I do. So however, you need to try these things on your own. But we were looking more for convenience too. A lot of these products, did it add an extra step that made it inconvenient? So a lot of the planter box treatments for us make it really convenient and easy for our operation because there's just two of us. So one guy's out planting beans and one guy's out planting corn, and I can't come help you and you can't come help me if we want to get everything done. So it has to be convenient. It has to be easy. It can't be complicated, and it can't add so many more steps to our operation that makes us inefficient.
Great, Matt. What have you seen? What have you seen with the bio stealth? What have you seen as far as bugs? What are you seeing as far as especially on your sweet corn girth around? Are you seeing more
What
rows
we're
around?
what we're seeing is we added 2 rows on sweet corn. We added 2 rows around, so that makes a girthier ear. So the customer is very impressed when you hand them what I call cordwood for a dozen. It's just a nice bigger ear. The standability is the next. Both in sweet corn and popcorn, you have that ability that it will go over, it will go down. You have a little bit bigger diameter stalk, not a lot, but I think it's enough. And then when you slice that stalk open, it's that health inside that stalk that you find is so much better. Not that you have a bigger stalk necessarily, but you have a more healthier stalk. You also have a better root mass all the way around the plant, a bigger root mass. And like I said, if you apply the BioStealth in one row and you applied the Ethos in the next row next to it and you looked, you really can't. They're both doing basically the same job. They're accomplishing the same thing. The thing of it is the BioStealth is much more convenient and easy to handle and to manage and to deal with than the Ethos. And like I said, it costs less per acre. So my return on investment was greater in the end. And those are things that a lot of guys, they just look, well, did it add yield? I'm looking to see, did it make it more convenient and easy for our operation? And did it add value as a return on investment? So
What type of benefit or pricing, or what do you allocate to that convenience? What is that worth to you as a farmer?
when my time is very valuable, it's more valuable than somebody getting paid in a factory working every day, because we are all about the weather and the timing. So I've heard it said that during planting season, our value per hour may be $300 to $400 an hour. So if I can save an hour, and time is hard to value, but as you get older, you realize you don't have a lot of time. Ag teacher, I hate quoting him, but he says so many good things. When I was in high school, he said, when you're young, you have time. Time is on your side. You don't have money, but you can work hard and you can accomplish things. And as you get older, you're running out of time, but you have money where you can buy time. You can buy somebody else's time. He never mentioned the in between where you don't have time and you don't have money. And that's where I seem to find myself trying to make some more time and trying to make some more money. So it's products like this where that convenience is making me that time and it's making me that money. So
You let's we're gonna stay on the corn and then we'll move to beans.
yes,
What would you like to see from NewFields Ag coming in the future?
I
What would fit into your program, be it a hopper box treatment or planter box treatment or a foliar or anything like that?
well, on foliar ends, we don't have a lot of luck with foliars because, as I said, you built that foundation. We've got that foundation built. And so foliars don't seem to add a lot for our operation. Where I would really like, so we use Xyway, and we have found we put it down when we do a side dress or our nitrogen application, which is a Y drop. And if you look at how God designed that corn plant, that is perfect for the way he's built that corn plant. And we apply that. But I have a gap from the time I plant till that application where I concern myself, do we need a fungicide in there? Yes, we have seed treatments, but I'm thinking if we could have a planter box treatment that would cover that gap from it's in the ground, it's out of the bag now till when we get that application there, or maybe it could help us push that application even further back. We have found that pushing that application to side dress instead of at plant opens the window up for that product to be viable longer. And where others are having a tar spot issue, we don't find a tar spot issue, or our tar spot comes in, it starts affecting our crop very late, and thus it's not feasible, justified to apply a product. So we have been getting by without having to do a second application of a fungicide, where a lot in our neighborhood are doing 2 applications because of tar spot. But you got to be proactive. You can't just say, hey, I applied this product now, it'll take care of it. No, you need to be out there scouting, verifying that, yes, what I did is working out correctly.
So, Matt, I'm glad to tell you that we have now licensed Terrasum 601 in the planter box treatment as a fungicide. I haven't been able to talk to you
Yes.
in a while, so I think you knew it was coming down the road.
I had hopes.
You just didn't know when. So we will make sure that at least you have some of that TS 601 to study on your farm. Now
Yes, thank you.
let's move over to what Iowa and Illinois treats as a redheaded stepchild. Let's start talking about soybeans.
For our area, soybeans are a bigger push. There's a lot of beans back to beans in our area. There's a lot of farmers that are 1/3 corn and 2/3 soybeans. So soybeans,
And why is that?
well, one, I think it's easier to manage soybeans, and two, there's a less cost of production with soybeans. So I want to push soybean yields, because if we can get another bushel or two, that helps out greatly on your return on investment. So we play with a lot of things. We look at a lot of things. Dust was first introduced to us on the bean side. From the dealer we were buying the soybeans from, they pre-treat with dust. And that's a big convenience to us. Then we're not having to even mess with it. He also does, like, all of our inbox planter treatments. He will now add those on. So each variety, we do little different things depending on what characteristics of that variety we think would benefit it. And so we customize the different things that we do in the planter box treatment. He does, and we don't even have to mess with. And that makes it a real convenience for us. But we really feel that some of these planter box treatments, of course, again, you've got the foundation built and you're adding those building blocks up, that they have really helped bring that extra bushel or two beyond their cost. Of course, you've got to figure that there's a cost into that. and you want to definitely pay for the cost, but you want to get additional bushels beyond that cost so that you have the return on investment. We really feel that these are really helping out, and I think they also help out. You're trying to push yield, so you try to push that planting window forward into usually more colder soils, and I think a lot of these help to overcome those establishment issues. And I haven't found anything else other than just being patient and wait, for that soil to warm up that has helped these establishments of these stands, like some of your planter box treatments have. And I can't say, oh, this one is better than that one. Like I said, they each have their place, and we try to agronomically look at where we're going to place each one, and we try to use each one differently. In the soybeans, on the corn, it's more straightforward. This is just what it's going to be and how it's going to be, pretty much, because that seems to work well. On the beans, it's like plug and play, and so that's kind of how we've gone about it.
Right. I think you're using some Victor Rise, you're using some
Yes.
Victor, which the Victor is just a Terracin 401, and then the Victor Rise has your algae, your Despy 4. It's kind of a broad gamut,
Yes.
to say, of everything. What now, we can include the fungicide into the soybean
Yes.
treatment now also, but what other what are you wanting us to look at? Where do you think we should go? Okay, we got the fungicide. What's the next step?
It was real interesting to me, and of course we apply zinc with corn, and we're also now applying sulfur on soybeans. But I wonder about a little bit of zinc in soybeans, and maybe having that in the planter box treatment.
Mhm.
It's just something in the last month that has kind of come to my mind, that would that help out? Zinc helps a lot on the corn side, and it doesn't take a lot. And sulfur really helps out on the bean side, and we've kind of got that figured out. But what if a little bit of zinc in there might push yields a little bit more? Now, we use a lot of manures, so the micros usually are in pretty good place for us. We're just trying to tweak things out here and there. So I do like, we're playing more with the Big Shot as an insecticide, especially as a foliar. And always when you go in and you spray a fungicide, and we look at the varieties, and we know from those frog eye ratings, this is the variety we're going to hit with a fungicide. These are the varieties we're going to scout. Well, usually when you spray that fungicide, you always want an insecticide alongside of it. I'm thinking about dropping the generic warrior out and running the Big Shot in place of that. I really like it because if you've ever sprayed a lot of insecticides, even if you're trying your best to be protected, at the end of the day, you can feel a little tingle. You can feel a little burn. Where I think if I apply the Big Shot instead, I'll be taking the risk of my health out of the equation. And that's more why I'm looking at the Big Shot. I know it'll do the job because I've seen it do the job in other respects, and I know it will not hurt me. And so that's why I'm thinking about completely doing away with the Warrior and run the Big Shot only in our post fungicide insecticide application, is for my health and well-being. And those are the family.
You brought up Big Shot and other applications you've used it in. Now, I know you have show pigs, and you're using it and another product. Tell us about that experience?
Well, so we used BAC in the show barn. Interact with a lot of other people, and you don't know what you're bringing back with you to the barn. You don't know what disease that maybe they have that doesn't show up because they're used to it. and you've just introduced something new. So the reason I like BAC was it doesn't harm anybody. It's not like applying a chemical that again makes me tingly at the end of the day. So we will, when we get back, all the show stock will be sprayed down. The trailer will be sprayed down. All the show supplies will be sprayed down. We'll also do the barn inside itself just in case we miss something. And it was, everybody says, well, did you give shots when you returned? Did your pigs get sick? No, I never give shots. Yes, I do. I give vaccines and things, but I don't have the issues that a lot of other people that went to that same show say they have. We use a lot of manures. We stockpile a lot of litter, layer litter, turkey litter, pullet litter, grower litter, and you have the dung beetle. And they always spray the piles down. And I'm not for sure what they use. It's more of a turnkey operation. They provide the litter, they bring it, they maintain the pile, they spread it, and that takes a load off of us. So we had a pile close to the show barn, and all of a sudden the show barn is full of dung beetles. I'm like, what the heck? And I didn't want to fumigate or fog in there. And we've been using the BAC to keep spiders, flies, mosquitoes down in there. I will tell you, just spray that and the dung beetles are done in their tracks. They don't move. They're done. So we're switching over, and they're going to come in and still spray the pile with whatever they spray. And I'm going to then come in and spray the pile with Big Shot, because the beetles are in the pile. And the idea is that it heats and pushes the beetles out, and they go through that insecticide barrier, and they die. That works sometimes. It doesn't work all the time. So, and if I'm putting the Big Shot on, I'm not adding another chemical into that environment, but I'm taking care of the insects. And it smells good. It makes the hog barn. Between the two, you can take that pig smell and it's gone. You think you walked into your wife's house and she's burning some fancy candle, because the oil's in there. I really like the cinnamon. It just makes things smell real good to me. And so people go, do you clean this barn constantly? Well, kind of yes, but no, it's the products that we're using to clean and maintain the barn that have helped the smell out, I believe.
Great, great. Well, Matt, thank you for coming on NewFields Ag. Matt is a customer of Matt Timmerman at MTK Farms in Ridgeville, Indiana. So if you have any questions, please reach out to them, or if you're in that area wanting to purchase something, please let them know. I don't know if Jamie can put some numbers up on there. It might be impossible to put somebody's number up there for them to get in contact with.
Matt, if you want to add your information in the chat, that way everybody can see.
Okay.
Mm-hmm.
And then, is there any questions from the congregation?
Yep. So for right now, what we're going to do is we'll go ahead and thank you so much, Matt, and Pat, for a wonderful presentation. And thank you so much for being a NewFields Ag customer. We really appreciate it. We're going to now move to the Q&A section for the next 10-15 minutes, however long you need, and we'll discontinue the recording at this time and encourage you to take this time to ask the experts your questions. We will answer the questions in the chat. I see we got one from Lauren, and then we'll come and just raise your hand and whatnot. If you think of a question at a later time, please reach out to your local NewFields Ag reseller or business development manager, or contact the office. All contact information can be found on newfieldsag.com. And Matt, if you can plug your information in the chat, that would be awesome. If you're jumping off right now, we hope you have a blessed day, and thank you so much for joining. I'm going to go ahead and we'll stop this recording, and then we'll start those questions.
Okay, thank you.